Hello and welcome to today's content, which will be reviewing the game Pokemon ZA, specifically the Switch 2 edition from my experience. Pokemon ZA is a game that could seem quite familiar, especially if you played like Pokemon Legends Arceus or, ironically, even a bit of Palworld, just due to the nature of how it's related and especially the current circumstance of when this video was made. But anyways, the game is being shown in a new style and format since it's part of the Legends quote-unquote, spin-off, like a different IP, but even though it's the Pokemon IP, it's not like the main line considered. And the setting is oriented in Lumio City, which is basically in Pokemon X, Y, and Z. Basically, the story and the time frame is after the years of X, Y, and Z from the game/anime, and it's kind of like the conclusion or closure of X, Y, Z. Just a disclaimer, since I am going into detail with the pros and cons and a little bit of the scoring, I hope that people can understand there will be spoilers, and I'll probably leave the spoilers to the pros and cons, but not with the scoring, which I will say right after this. And yeah, let's get to it. And this is a $69.99 game. This is specifically the Switch 2 edition version of the game. So $69.99, we have to kind of put it at that scale of expectation and what we want out of it, or like what kind of production team is going to be behind this, you know what I mean? Like we got to consider a little bit, but not too much, because we got to take the game for what it is. This will also not be including the DLC, which is going to be $29.99. It's not out yet, specifically in terms of like the main content, so we're not really going to be including it in this overall scoring. Alright, and here we are for the scoring. For the people who just want to know the scoring and want to skedaddle, here we go. If you are a fan of Pokemon, or you are biased towards Pokemon in terms of like a positive way, but not a mega fan, not like super dedicated, but pretty decent, like you're familiar with Pokemon, you're down for it, I will say this game is a 3.5 out of 5. Obviously, if you times that by 2, I do think it's a solid 7 out of 10 game. Now, for the people who are not fans of Pokemon, or they don't really know Pokemon too much, but they thought about getting this for their first Pokemon game, I think the score will be knocked down a little bit to a 3 out of 5. Obviously, times 2, it's like a 6 out of 10. I think the game has a few positives, a few negatives, but for the price point and what expectations I've actually had about the game, I don't think it's a great game. I think it's in the middle ground between a decent to a good game. But there are a lot of things that I feel like is missing. But yeah. And after this, I will be talking about the pros and cons. So now the spoilers will be happening. Alright, and let's get into it. Let's go with the cons first. Because who doesn't want a little bit of like the drama, or like what is this guy saying? Like why is the score like a bit lower than they expected, or something like that. So let's get with it. So first off, for the cons, let's just go with the combat is pretty shallow and it's heavily unbalanced, depending if you value balance and fairness, which in my opinion is very important, especially for like a Pokemon game. There is the the argument for like just having fun. I mean, the game is fun, but it's a bit shallow, and like there's limits to what you can do and how much you can do it. Especially, for example, like range to melee attacks feel horrible to use interchangeably just due to the positioning of your Pokemon. The buildings also, by the way, look like they're just pictures instead of like actual proper designs, which in a graphical standpoint is like, okay, it's reasonable. It's a big city, like maybe that's just how it is. They're trying to save on data and performance, but it's like, come on, man. Like, if there's a little bit more nuance to it, it'd be kind of cool. Another thing is, the city feels big, quote unquote, but it's actually pretty small to traverse. There is a lot of decent movement in the game, especially once you get like the Rotom, the hover, but it's like, the game is all centralized in Lumio City, which makes the game actually be much smaller than it is. There are a lot of battle zones in the area, but they don't really make up for how small the world really feels like. Even though the city feels big, the entire world feels small. And while funny at times, the height differences in physical objects can kind of obscure movement. And what that means is like, sometimes your Pokemon is gonna bug out on like a bush or like a ledge, and they just can't get to your destination where they're trying to use an attack to attack another Pokemon. And the other Pokemon, if they got ranged and it could just hit through it, it will just kite you forever. It's like, bro, what the heck, man? Either way, outside of that, there's also like, the story is also very out of place unless you've played and watched all of the XYZ game or the anime. And I mean like you've read through all of it, so you actually understand a lot of references in the story. So basically, if you haven't done that and you're kind of new to the series and or game itself, you're definitely going to be kind of like, it's not going to feel as impactful, and there's no closure for you because you're just figuring out what happened, but you're like already at the ending. So there's no building up to it. There's not like much character development to it. And I know I said I'm not including the DLC directly into the scoring. I have to put in the fact that a paid DLC was announced before the game is even out, and there's megas locked behind it. Like, what? That is definitely something to consider for me. Like, that's a huge thing. It's like, bro, the game's not even out. You could have definitely put this into the game before, just announcing something early. This is something that also happened with Night Rain. Like, they announced the DLC before it even came out, or like they're still planning for it. But it's like, at least theirs didn't blatantly just like lock like mega Pokemon behind it or like something. Like, I mean, we'll have to see once it comes out. But it's like, it's stuff like that doesn't, it sits unwell with me. And, you know, just due to the setting outside of the DLC, the Pokemon diversity just isn't really that high in the game, because while it is in the Kalos region, it's not anywhere close to the actual national dex compared to its counterpart in terms of Pokemon X and Y, the 3DS game, which literally had the national dex at the time, you know? But this one specifically does not, and I know they've made a lot of new animations, the shell shade, new art direction, all that, but it's like, they implemented around 25 to 26 new megas, not including inside the DLC, but it's like, I don't know, it just feels like there's not enough considering how much Pokemon we know is out there. It just doesn't feel like enough. It's like, dang, it's all confined into one area. It would have been cool if we had more zones or like more areas, but it's all just inside Lumio City. And let's move on to something that's more like a system error or like a design flaw, in my opinion. So where we go off this, it's like certain Pokeballs are just not good or realistically ever gonna be used, because capture rates are already kind of rough depending on what Pokemon you're trying to get, and especially like if you're just gonna be farming them, so you could either get like you can get an alpha Pokemon or you're trying to get like a shiny or something. You want the best capture rate, right? And we can't always have Master Balls, but it's like, I'm talking about like the Pokeballs that no one really realistically uses, and I'm talking about like the Premier Ball. It's cool and all, and design and everything, but you're not gonna catch like majority of Pokemon with it because it's just not a good capture rate. Same with the Friend Ball. It's like, why would I want to risk a lower capture rate with the Friend Ball if I can just take the Pokemon with a better catch rate like ball, like the Repeat Ball or a Quick Ball, and just take him out to like a coffee sitting like over and over and over, which is infinitely faster. Or I guess the Heal Ball, which is arguably useless, but I mean, maybe speedrunners can make use of it, but I mean, in the game, like, I don't think there would be much usage outside of ever using a Heal Ball, outside of maybe like speedrunning. But it's like that type of stuff, like, they're just put into the game for the sake of being put into the game. It's like, I'd rather they just take it out at that point. It just feels useless. I mean, I guess it's kind of there for like flavor, but like, they're just better Pokeballs to use. There's also a night and day cycle in the game. While the idea of it is pretty nice and cool, I think it was executed pretty annoyingly, or like it's tedious. What I mean by that is that there's always a delay that happens between night and day, but it's understandable because it's like kind of loading into battle zones or like the wild areas for Pokemon, where you can either catch Pokemon, or for battle zones where it's to literally do the Battle ZA Royale. But it's like, why is there such a long delay between that, especially when that's the main core gameplay loop outside of obviously catching Pokemon, or like, you know, you're farming shinies or a good IV, or maybe, you know, going for an alpha Pokemon. It's just that delay, it adds up over time. It's like, why is there like almost like a 10 to 15 second plus delay every time it changes the day cycle? It's just kind of annoying. There's also, in the ZA Battle Royale itself, not talking about the online multiplayer, but just it at nighttime, every single trainer you defeat in a battle zone, it takes a lot of time going through the menu on that. It's like, okay, let's do a pose, show how much little like points you get, prize medals, and all that. It's like, okay, it's cool like the first few times, but when this is on a farm content, it gets very old very quickly, and it eats up so much more time. It's like, just in terms of design, it's not modernized enough compared to like Just example, like the new Digimon game, once you finish the fight, you can just keep pressing the A button and skip through like the menu and all that. It's like, okay, good. It's you know, you could get speed through it because it's not really important. You're gonna be going through it over and over and over in the future. Or like even like metaphor, you know, like speeding up fights that you don't even have to be actively in. It's not the same in Pokemon ZA. Each fight, even if you one-shot that Pokemon, they usually have at least 1 or 2 or 3 more Pokemon in there, so you have to fight them anyways, and you will have that menu that comes up. It's just kind of, in my opinion, like kind of tedious and annoying. Another part with the fights is definitely like the quote-unquote, I guess, pseudo gym battle-esque or like trials. It's gonna be the Mega Pokemon fights, because you know the whole story is about Mega Evolution being rogue, like there's rogue evolutions happening, and honestly, at first the Mega fights were kind of interesting, and then it just turns into like, all right, well you gotta, you know, pick the good typing, turn on the plus power move or like a Mega Evolution, and you just keep attacking, kite, and move in a direction, and just keep attacking, and it's literally just a sandbag Pokemon that you're just beating up, and it just takes like a bunch of time. I felt like they could have went deeper with this, kind of like Sword and Shield or like Scarlet and Violet when they had actual raids and you could like maybe play with other people. But it's literally just one of the ZA like employee workers that's in your team that's just helping you try to fight this, and it's just, I don't know, it just felt very lame after like the first 2 or 3. It's like, okay, we know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be a Mega Evolution Pokemon, and we just have to fight it with our own Pokemon and defeat it. That's it. It felt very tame compared to what they could have done. It's like fighting the like mythical, or like, oh no, okay, not mythical, but like the regional or like boss Pokemon in Legends Arceus, but it's like nothing really changed from it. It was very shallow. And for the last few topics, but not the least, it's gonna be the online ranked. So basically, online ranked also gates rewards that have a time limit within their seasons, like seasonal ranked games. Like obviously, a lot of games, especially competitive games, has this, like League of Legends, even Scarlet and Violet, which there are regulations, different types of regulations between each time period. But the online seasons specifically for Pokemon ZA are pretty short, and not only that, they locked like Mega Evolutions behind, like Mega Greninja Knight. It's like, why is this locked behind here? And I know they made it easier since I made this video, but it's still locked behind there. So if you never touch it, you can never really get a Mega Greninja Knight unless, you know, trade. I'm not talking about that stuff though. It's like, you personally cannot get it unless you participate in the online thing. And I get they're trying to push players towards it so that they can play, but the online ranked is already kind of shallow as it is. At first, you know, few like 5 games I did, I was like, oh yeah, it's pretty interesting, pretty cool, you know, kind of fun. You're just having fun, you're just going around like beating up people. It's literally a battle royale, but it's pretty shallow in the end after that part. It's like, I kind of wished I went more into detail. It felt like it's very not forced, but like not a lot of thought into it. They're like, okay, let's just make this so as the excuse of making it, and just hopefully the players will be happy. It's like, you just fight 3 other players, you just get the most kills, doesn't matter. You kind of just kite around and all that, and you just rinse and repeat the entire time, you know, swap your Pokemon once in a while, all that. It's like, there are a bit of nuances to the combat where you can like dodge certain moves by like using a different Pokemon move, swapping out, or Mega Evolution at like a right time, but like it's nothing crazy. It's not like, oh my goodness, I made a crazy outplay. It's nothing like that. It's really simple. And honestly, I kind of wish there was like a larger lobbies. Like, it's only 3 players. Like, why can't we have like a 6-man lobby, or like even an 8-man lobby or something? Like, just increase the scale of it, because then it makes more chaos to just have fun, since apparently that's what it was for, like created for, just to have fun. But it's like, more people in a battle royale is pretty fun at that point. And I wish it was more than just like 4 or 5-ish maps, because like 3 out, like 80% of those maps that they have are very small spaces, and it's just, there's no thought process behind it when you're in these like ranked matches. You're just pressing buttons, you know, trying to get as many kills, and that's it. There's not like, oh, if I go to the back corner here, I'll be okay, or like, oh, I can go to like hide over here. You can't really do that because the maps are so small. And while I can drown on and on with all the negatives about the game, I think it's best to kind of just leave it here for now and just go on to the positives of it, since we've been so negative. So like, this is all these negatives you're hearing. It's like, oh wow, maybe this game really is bad and I shouldn't play. But let's talk about the positive side of things. So first off, I just have to say, for the pros, it's like the new combat is very unique to the Pokemon series. It's like, It's like what FF7 Rebirth, well, like not FF7, but like the FF7 remake did overall to its battle system compared to the original FF7 on the PlayStation. It's a pretty big change because there's a lot to it. Like, you know, there's physical and special attacks that you can use from range distance or physical distance, and it actually has like projectile speeds. It actually has like physical things that actually have to make contact. It's like you're not just putting out a move and it's gonna hit. Sometimes it could even miss because there's different interactions that can happen. So it's like, it's pretty interesting and unique. I will say though, obviously, if you played different games or like even like Power World, it is kind of similar to it, but it's basically Pokemon spin on it. And it's like, okay, instead of like Pokemon speed, we have like cooldowns in the game and, you know, animation speed. So that it's pretty interesting at how they're kind of working towards this new battle system for the Legend series. And I just have to say, I know on social media a lot of people kind of complaining about some of the graphical parts of the games, like, oh my gosh, this building looks like a JPEG. We can't even go in 90% of the buildings, which makes sense, you know, from a game design standpoint in terms of like trying to compress it all into a Switch game so it can run at a decent amount of FPS or something. Obviously in the Switch 2, I've had no FPS drops at all, pretty much. It's been pretty smooth. And it's kind of crazy that the game can play at 60 FPS. It's very, very weird. Like, it's very crisp and clean of a feeling. And I'm just saying, a Pokemon game at 60 FPS does not feel good. Okay, it's not that it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel familiar. It was very weird. But I think it's a good thing to kind of get a taste of it. I also have to say, despite the buildings, you know, being a JPEG, I feel like there's a lot more expression and like liveliness inside the NPCs and their interactions. Even the Pokemon animations feel like a lot more alive and vibrant because there's like new moves that they have to make. They have to make new interactions, especially because of the combat. It's like it feels like they're upping their graphical overhaul on everything else except for maybe the background. So like I'm talking about like the menus, the UI, NPCs, Pokemon, but obviously like the background of buildings and certain stuff like that, there's a very big contrast to it if people actually paid attention. And while a lot of people are used to kind of like the more linear movement in Pokemon outside of, you know, the more recent releases like Scarlet Violet and Legends, way of travel and movement actually feels pretty good, especially once you get like the Rotom flying, the helicopter part. Like you're like rooftop running, and there's also like good fast travel in the game. It just feels proper. It feels like more modernized, that they've done a good part on this, because it was definitely an issue like prior. I do wish we kind of had like a free roam flying in the game. It would have been kind of cool and neat, especially since like there's a lot of rooftop running. But I guess that would make the Rotom helicopter flying thing kind of useless. But it was very, very nice to see and have and feel like the way it could do it. And I think the implementation of the battle zones with the battle quests inside them make them feel a lot more rewarding. I know I said it's like, oh, why is there so much like delay? Why is there a result screen like this that takes place every time? Those are the negatives. The good parts of them is it feels a lot more rewarding to actually try and do like the little side quests they give you. Like you pick up these cards that they show you and you complete the objective, and you not only get a lot more like prize money, which is a good multiplier to your money, you also get more points in general. And it's like, it feels good to do it because it gives you some objectives rather than just blatantly like brain dead kill, like not kill, you know, it's a Pokemon game, defeat everything. Like it actually gives you an incentive to do something because it actually has decent rewards for it. And also the wild zones are definitely a cool concept, since I was initially confused at how is this game gonna function if it's only inside a city. The wild zones definitely make like a good argument for it, and it has like a cool implementation with Pokemon being in it. It's like, oh, everyone's actually like living together in this Pokemon world, and like it's kind of cool that each zone kind of had their own little spin on it. So it's like there are some positives to these battle and wild zones, even though I said earlier that it was kind of like tedious to go around them. And considering the amount of current megas that we have in the game, there was also a lot of new megas that I've said earlier, which is about 25, 26. And I know it's not a lot, it's still something. And just like due to the combat design changes, it makes some previously really bad Pokemon, or like not bad, I guess I should say, or like some really not usable Pokemon competitively to be actually decent, and vice versa. It's like, oh, Mega Garchomp usually was almost never used because of the speed deficit, but now Mega Garchomp in this game, since speed is not as important compared to the other titles, it's like, oh wow, it's actually really strong in this one because, you know, the attack stat is very big here and speed is not as important. So it's like, it's nice to see like they kind of made certain Pokemon more usable once again, despite being like kind of recycled or like thrown in the trash cans, because in previous usage they were not used as much. So it's nice to see them like make things more viable. And just visually speaking, in terms of like designing your own character and all that, while there's only a few choices you can really pick between because of your like trainer's face, their hair, color, etc., all that, at least the clothing, there is a lot to like choose from and there's a large variety of it. So it's kind of nice to see that. It's come back from previous games and it's not just one full outfit. You can actually like customize what parts you want to wear. It's like, oh, I want to wear shoes from this set. Oh, I want pants from this set. Oh, I kind of like this jacket, but it's like a different set. It's kind of like that. You can mix and match. So you could really, the creativity is out there for you to use. I'm not really good at it, as you can see what I put on. But you know, it's like, it's there and it's like available. And I like that like there's a lot of choices you can pick from it. We also got to talk about the story though. Like the story is definitely interesting and it brings back previous knowledge, especially if you're a Pokemon fan or you knew about the news like previously. I know I said in the cons like it's not a good story if you don't know it, but I think it's a decent closure, kind of see the aftermath of certain things. It's like, oh, you know, like Emma grew up and she took over like Looker's detective work now. Or it's like, oh, there's the Big Z man. It's like, oh, we finally got closure on his story kind of thing. It's like we're basically living out the ending of Pokemon XYZ in its like finale type of a thing. So it's like we finally get that type of closure. It's like, oh, what happened to this trainer? What happened? There is a few things though, like where's Clement? Like where's he and his sister? Like what happened? You know, it's like where are they? Maybe they're in the DLC. We don't know. But I'm just saying, it was nice as someone who is a big fan of like reading into like lore or like enjoying Pokemon XYZ, both the game and the anime. It's like, oh, it's kind of nice to see like these little Easter eggs and things that like kind of lead up to it. So it's like, it's very nice to see that. And last but not least, since I don't want this video to go on forever, I will say the music and the background musics are so good and they just suit the environments. Like the nighttime music, the battle music, the wild zone music, the trainer, like you're battling specific, like not gym trainers I should say, but like your candidates that you have to like battle to raise your rank in the ZA Royale. Like there is a lot of music in this that just hits correctly. And I mean, it's hard for Pokemon in general to miss music. And there are a few, obviously, but it's like they hit majority of the time and it's just correct. It just feels right and the music is good. And it's just, I just have to say, I'm a very large enjoyer of music and BGMs. And I'm not saying that as like, oh, if music good, this is good. It's like the music has to fit. It has to have the theme of it and it has to just work. You know, it's like you can't just put a super good track onto something and just play like a different like cutscene. It's like, okay, this music doesn't really fit, but it's like in Pokemon ZA, I've definitely felt like the music fit significantly more, and it just felt right. It just felt correct. And last but not least to say, in the end, my afterthoughts, I do think the Pokemon Legends series is going towards a direction that is going up. And I know I gave a bit of a harsh score in my opinion. Even if they're going up, it's definitely uphill, and it's pretty slow, but you can definitely make and like see changes they've made compared to Pokemon Legends Arceus, that they are definitely going up. I think Pokemon ZA is overall better than Arceus, especially with the improvements to the gameplay, despite the mediocre graphics. I do think it's better than Arceus in the end, just if you look at it all from an overall like perspective. Ironically though, I do think the story like setting in general, maybe possibly even the storytelling maybe, is better in Arceus compared to Pokemon ZA, but it was definitely nice for people who know about XY and the anime part Z, is to get some nice closure. It's like a little bit of sprinkles in the ZA from the previous story. And while despite not being balanced really in combat animation, certain moves come out way faster, or some moves like can hit from like a mile away and they can be cast at a safe distance. It's like they're definitely cooking something up, especially like for the future. I see it as like, Okay, I mean, this is definitely could be polished more. It needs a bit of work, but I do think it's a good stepping stone up for the future Legends games. And while I'm not sure if I'll buy and purchase the future Legends games unless there's like a really good incentive or like something cool that comes out that I really want. I don't know if it'll get to that point, but it's definitely looking like people who like the Legends series is definitely gonna be there for them in the next game going forward. And finally, I'm just saying, I'm hoping, but also not hoping, that the DLC kind of covers some bad parts of the game. Like, the end game is a bit lackluster. It's just repeat doing the ZA Royale over and over, or like playing the online parts, which is what I said is pretty shallow. It did look like in like the DLC there was like Pokemon past level 100, which is some crazy stuff. We've never seen that ever before. There's new megas. There's a bit of a new parts of story, but that's not in this game specifically. It's in the DLC that comes out later. So while I hate the design of creating a problem and selling the solution, it does mean that they have potential to kind of like fix parts of the game where it had more negatives than positives. But overall, I mean, this game, I can't say I can really recommend it to people unless they're a big Pokemon fan and they just want to try it out. I don't think it's necessarily like the worst buy you can make. It's like, I mean, if you like Pokemon or you know Pokemon or you want to kind of learn about it, this is definitely more of a casual, okay experience. If you just want to get into it and learn a little bit about Pokemon, it's nice. It's not bad. But overall, outside of that, that's all I have for this review. And until the next video, peace.